All right, so it's Anti again. Wanted to bring you an update on the Doryani's prototype build. It looks like my discussion on for the first video on armor stacking is really just not going to work anymore. I did some more testing, and even if I was able to scale the armor to a high level, and when I say a high level, I mean probably 5K, maybe 6K armor, maybe even 7 or 8K armor. Just it still didn't feel good. So instead, I'm pivoting over to Evasion, just like my previous video, or just like my previous build. So I'm going to give you a little bit of kind of a rundown of the gear priority, the stat stuff. The Mobilytics guide has been updated to include everything being Evasion based. I've also changed the tree, so we're just going to get into that real quickly. So I've taken out no longer using Iron Reflexes, and I've scaled it back. I've instead grabbed Evasion nodes here. I've also grabbed these quiver nodes because I found that my quiver is actually pretty good for the build. Increase attack speed, projectile speed, flat fizz. The fire damage isn't great. You'd want that to be lightning damage, but otherwise really good quiver. Scaled up here for some more evasion. I switched from projectile damage to damage with ailments and chance to inflict ailments because I'm no longer using in my links. I'm no longer using shock chance. I also went projectile damage instead of attack speed because we're getting enough attack speed elsewhere. Here, sorry, with Falcon technique, and I'm also using martial tempo as the replacement instead of shock chance. 25% more attack speed feels really good. Also pivoted away from general attack speed here and went for more evasion rating nodes. This tree is very similar to the galvanic shards tree, my previous build, with a couple of tweaks. Because we don't need any lightning pen, I went for split shot, which I've talked about in the build guide or in the Mobilytics guide, and I think I talked about it in the previous video. I also went for mental toughness because we need a lot of mana regen for this build, and we're going to need even more once we add a 5th support gem to the skill. Also went up and gotten Wild Storm, filled in my jewels. Some of my jewels are mediocre, and I can also take an extra jewel socket here, extra jewel socket here. Where I will be going in my next few points is likely going to be either back into this attack speed or go for close hit chance. You'll also notice that I spec'd out of these two nodes. This isn't required, but I was finding out that fizz damage taken from hits could be lightning damage, which is just something that's going to hurt us a lot more, because now we if we get hit with fizz, we have a chance to be hurt even more by the lightning damage taken from it, right? It's also difficult to run map mods that are damage gained as lightning, so try to stay away from those. Oh no, I'm not going here. I apologize. I'm actually going here for electrocution chance and buildup because we are electrocuting with our lightning rod. And back to the skills. I've made some changes. Like I said, if you want to see the deep dive on this, you can see the Mobilytics link. But for lightning arrow, I've gone martial tempo, primal armament, fork, lightning infusion. For lightning rod, I'm doing electrocute, scatter shot, conch effect. This is something I've replaced. I got a greater jeweler, so I went ahead and used it on lightning rod, and now I have mobility still in it, but I have a conch effect as well. Barrage is premeditation, ingenuity with perpetual charge, nothing's changed here. Orb of storms with persistence and magnified effect, also nothing's changed here. Voltaic mark with overcharge and lasting shock, also nothing's changed here. Nothing's changed on Herald of Thunder either. I don't have enough spirit, so I removed herbalism, and I don't have enough spirit to have combat frenzy with clarity. Yeah, clarity. So I'm running 3 auras, with Wind Dancer. Combat Frenzy is good, but it's not mandatory. What I may end up doing is I may be swapping Combat Frenzy out for a different aura. Maybe one that is... I don't know yet. I haven't thought about it enough, but this may get swapped out. If you're finding yourself not really using the frenzy charges all that much, this is not required. It's just more damage for barrage. If you're not using barrage very often and you're only really using it for bosses, then combat frenzy may not be the right play. Wind Dancer definitely helps a ton. Make sure, like I said in previous videos, you get this to 20% quality because it gives us an extra stage for evasion. And because I'm pivoting to evasion rating, my evasion rating is really, really bad right now because I've selected acrobatics, but that's actually been okay because once we get our tailwind up to 10%, I'm up to 49% evasion, and it stays 49 a lot because we're killing things pretty quickly before they even get a chance to hit us. And even if they do hit us, we can run away while they're blinded or maimed by Wind Dancer, and we can build those stacks back up. So for the gear that I have right now is definitely not optimal. I've crafted this bow and slammed a third socket. The only thing this is pretty much as good as I'm gonna get on the build. The fire damage can be replaced with LE damage to attacks, but it's hard to find a bow like that on the market. And the leech damage as mana can be replaced with an extra arrow. That would make this pretty primo. I mean, obviously you could do attack speed instead of life per kill because we already have cannibalism in our build. But it's still really, really good. Still have an armor evasion rating helmet. I need to replace this for evasion rating base. I did replace my gloves, but it's hard to replace these gloves because I have, number one, they slammed with 2 sockets, and the flat damage and the life, attack speed, and the fire res. It's all really, really good. These are almost irreplaceable, even though I need more evasion. And then my boots are armor boots, but I got these through a friend. He was selling them, and I was like, hey, I could use them. This was back before I pivoted to evasion rating, and so these are just my armor boots. I will eventually replace them whenever I get the currency to do so. They're just really expensive to replace. And I think everything else is the same. So Venter's Gamble, minus 40 lightning res, flat damage with life ring with mana regen rate. That's helpful. Evasion rating and armor. Solar amulet, you don't need the armor percent anymore. You just need evasion rating, life, maybe a stat. For me, 21 strength is important because I have these trimmed greaves, and the fire res is helpful because it's this 25 res doesn't really matter because I'm already overcapped, but it's helpful to get res where you need it. And that is it. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I will be showcasing some content for on the build over the coming days. I'm at tier 14/tier 15 maps now. I'm beyond where the guide says T11. I will update that once the video is done. And yeah, I'll see you later. Have a good day, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thank you.